Kagiso Trust Socio-Economic Development Unit is implementing what they call a farmer aggregator business model. And this is to fast-track transformation in the agricultural sector. It's brought together industry stakeholders, including farmers, retailers and financial institutions, to unearth the model's potential. And our business reporter, Ntokozo Khumalo, is in Melrose Arch here in Johannesburg, where it's happening. And Ntokozo, good morning. You mentioned the aggregator model this morning. Why is it gaining popularity in South Africa?
Hi again, Iman. Well, it is due to really ensuring that South Africa can have that food security, as I mentioned earlier, concerns around food insecurity, but really the crux of the matter, ensuring that there is transformation within the agricultural sector. And just speaking about that sump and beans that we were speaking about earlier, saying that if we have more emerging farmers in the space, a lot more families could be able to enjoy that hearty meal on a winter's day like this. But to talk us through Kagiso Trust implementing their own farmer aggregator model, I am now joined by its CEO, Mankodi Moeti. Thank you so much for talking to us. Now, where I'd like to start our conversation is what you just mentioned actually inside there, that this farmer aggregator model gaining momentum when it comes to transforming the agricultural sector, but needing to bring in those stakeholders, being the farmers and the communities as well. Perhaps give us insights into why such a model is important in transforming the industry and why we're here today.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. You know, Kagiso Trust has been grappling with how do we find solutions that not only brings food security, but appreciating that farming is an enterprise that is giving economic activity to the farmers. And we do appreciate that historically people have got different sizes of farmers. The proximity to inputs, it's different across the board. And if we really have to have people meaningfully engage in the sector, we needed to think, how else can we be organized? Can we think of different ways of people working together? How do farmers aggregate? How do inputs aggregate? How do the buyers aggregate? So this aggregation concept has been existing, but we think there are different appreciations and understanding of this concept, and we really want to bring the industry together to say, let's understand what does it mean, how can it be organized better, so that the impact that can be achieved can really be impactful across the board. But also most important, let's not forget, farmers are a community. These emerging farmers are a community. We really also need to listen to them to say what works. How can aggregation assist you? Or do you think aggregation doesn't assist? Therefore, let's reorganize ourselves differently to make it impactful for you, because we really need these farmers. You know by now that the former Minister of Agriculture, there's a lot of land that has been put in the hands of farmers. Where is that land? How do we make that land productive? What are the bottlenecks? And we think farmer aggregation or aggregation itself is one of those solutions that can help us to be efficient, to make that land to be productive and not be sterile, and produce the food that we need.
Absolutely. And just speaking about that, I'm glad you mentioned that it has been around for a while. And the reason I asked that, I spoke to a farmer out in Vryburg last night who actually does that mentorship already. But when I asked him, so why is farmer aggregator or the model important, he had no idea what that model is. Do you think the industry is doing enough to really educate farmers who most times are already actually doing the work and just finding those ways to then strengthen those partnerships?
You know, you are raising a good point. I mean, if you look at the people that are in this room, if we come out of here with a clearer understanding, better definition, we will all be able to go out there and talk about it. People will know where to find an aggregator. Does my size of my business, the produce that I'm producing, should I be aggregated with other farmers? So I think the lack of that definition, that popularizing this concept, it be organized in such a way that it works for the farmer. And the farmer can see themselves moving from point A to point B was what I think has been lacking. And I hope that the esteemed guests that are here are really going to offer something to South Africa that is so credible. I think the dynamics of our country requires innovative, catalytic solutions, and we think this is one of them. The good thing about it is that we are not starting this as, it's not a concept that Kagiso Trust has coined, but it's a concept that when we looked at it, we thought, hang on, aren't we missing something on the table that South Africa can use to support the emerging farmers? Hopefully, in few years' time, we shouldn't even be talking about emerging. We should say people are so organized that all we have in South Africa is farmers and using different models to make them take the next step in their lives.
Mokedi, thank you so much for those insights. And of course, the panel discussions, Iman, are ongoing. So we'll get more insights from Kagiso Trust as well as other industry stakeholders on just how to make this farmer aggregator model work for emerging farmers. And of course, I think the detail, the importance in the detail is that it looks beyond just the financing and getting black farmers into the agricultural sector, but also looks at technical skills, how to work around issues such as water and electricity restrictions to ensure that the farm can continue operating despite those bottlenecks that farmers might experience. So it's really gaining that experience from farmers that have been in the space for quite some time. And, you know, one of the discussion that I am looking forward to hearing is how we do keep track of this transformation while other new issues are coming up in the agricultural sector. So the industry stakeholders here saying the farmer aggregator model could help deal with those issues at the same time and fast track that transformation, Iman. So a little bit later on, we'll speak to some economists as well as Land Bank and hear from the farmers themselves on how this farmer aggregator model is helping them scale their operations, Iman.
Khumalo, thank you very much for that one.